Hey guys, Chad here at Happy Viking Games, and today we're going to do another beginner's tip video. We're going to talk about Evolve, because it's probably the most confusing of the mechanics in Gatecrash, the way that it works. And we're going to talk about anything that has a come into play ability that is not a may. It's something that you have to do. So first thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about Evolve. What Evolve says, if we look at this guy right here, is whenever a creature comes into play and it has a higher power or toughness than this creature, then this creature gets a +1/+1 counter. So for instance, this guy's a 1/2. Now if I played a 2/2, this guy would evolve. This guy would get bigger because his power is less than 2. So when you play your 2/2, let's say this is our 2/2. We have our 2/2 here. Then it checks the power and it goes, oh, this is smaller, sweet, now I'm bigger, and this guy gets a counter. So now it checks toughness as well, like it checks 2/2, and that's the same, so it's not greater, so it wouldn't evolve on toughness. Nothing can evolve twice ever on the same creature, but it doesn't. It checks toughness to toughness and power to power. So, for instance, if I had, if I had another 1/2 and I played it, it wouldn't evolve this guy, because even though its toughness is 2 is greater than the power of 1, it doesn't check like that. It checks toughness to toughness and power to power. We would see that it had 1 power and this has 1 power, and this has 2 toughness and this has 2 toughness, and then it wouldn't evolve. So that's Evolve. It's actually pretty simple once you know that it's power to power, toughness to toughness. So we'll move on to the next one. So the next ability that we're going to talk about is a generalized ability, and it's anything that has a come into play trigger that you can't miss. For instance, this Keymaster Rogue. When he comes into play, you have to return a creature to your owner's hand. And I know when I started playing, I saw abilities like this, and I was like, oh, if I don't have another creature, I just play him and I don't have to do it. Well, you have to do it. So if you play this Keymaster Rogue and you don't have another creature, you just bounce himself. So that's awkward. So you'd pay 4 mana and you'd play him, and then you'd be like, I don't have a creature, I don't have to bounce one. Well, you have a creature, because this guy's in play when the ability goes in the stack. So you play him, the ability goes in the stack, and then you'd have to return your hand. So then you just paid 4 mana, and you're sad. So cards like that, just know that if it looks like it has a condition that you can't skip, if it doesn't say may, then you have to do it. It's something that has to happen. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about with cards like this too is if you miss this trigger on purpose, then because you can miss triggers. Like this is a triggered ability. And there are times where people are playing the game and they'll play something like this and they'll just forget, and both players will forget. And that's a missed trigger, and it happens, but if you miss it on purpose, that's cheating, and you'll get disqualified. Like you play this guy and you know that you have to bounce a creature to your hand, and your opponent doesn't really know and you just don't do it, that's cheating. So you'll get game losses at tournaments for it. I mean, it's really easy to tell too when that happens. So, but yeah, thanks for watching, guys. This was our beginner's tip video on a couple things that are confusing, and I hope you enjoyed the videos, and see you next time.